So what is it? What is this tension thing? And also, what does it mean to have continuously rising tension? I mean, always? Continuously rising? If only we can figure out what this tension thing is. Well, I've been thinking about it for a few years now. And this is my own theory, but it's based on the ideas of others, as many good theories are, I believe. To find the meaning of tension in film, I sought guidance from other arts. And there's this idea of dramatic tension from literature and theater and the like, and dramatic tension is created in a number of ways. By following a character as they accomplish a task, will they be successful or not, or by the juxtaposition of characters, the idea of conflict, as I just brought up earlier. And dramatic tension can also be created through a balance of providing and withholding information to the audience, which either creates anticipation, provides the opportunity for foreshadowing and inference, and can create dramatic irony where the audience knows more than the characters on stage. These techniques for creating dramatic tension are tried and true, and they certainly exist in films. But the opening credits of The Shining certainly have tension, even though there's only music and images of a yellow Volkswagen Beetle driving through the mountains. I mean, there's no dramatic tension, but there is tension. In music, tension is theoretically created in the minds of the audience. Musicians use patterns and reiteration. They increase and decrease pitch and speed and intensity. They syncopate rhythms and toggle between consonance and dissonance, and that creates a sense of tension and release in the audience. Visual artists create tension as well through the use of color and framing, motion and stillness. If you look at a painting, photography, even dance, visual tension is created through an interplay of conflicting visual elements. I'm talking about lines, shapes, color, light, depth, and movement. Whether literal or implied, these all help draw the viewer into the image, even in the absence of story or music. I mean, certainly Pollock and de Kooning know that, or knew that. Film, of course, can leverage all of these sources of tension, but we still haven't arrived at a working definition for the term yet. So let me propose one. Isn't tension simply a way to make the audience want more? To stick around to the next scene, the next moment, the next note or image or joke? Because otherwise, if the audience doesn't want to stick around, then they're bored. And if they're bored, they leave, or they lose interest in the film. And that is the sign, I think, of a not so good film. But a great film does keep you interested. Every moment, they have you, they hook you. You don't want to get up and go get more popcorn. You don't want to get up to go to the bathroom, check your phone, talk to your friends. Great movies keep you interested in what is going to happen next, from the very first frame until the credits begin to roll. That is tension. That, at least, is how I define tension, and I would argue that there are at least 5 specific ways that tension can be created in films. And it's created on all levels, by every layer of the creative filmmaking process, from wardrobe to set design, composers to cinematographers, writers, directors, sound designers, and actors, all of them alike. They all play a role, in my mind. Correct me if I'm wrong. The 5 ways to create tension are, alphabetically, anticipation, conflict, engagement, entertainment, and production. Let's go through them broadly, one at a time. Anticipation. Anticipation is based upon the ideas for dramatic tension. Through foreshadowing and by manipulating the information that the audience has, the audience anticipates a character's decisions and judges the expected fallout. Or the audience anticipates thematic connections within the story. By informing or withholding thematic and character information from the audience, storytellers can create what is known as the triangle of knowledge, where the audience anticipates what they think will happen next, which creates a strong desire to watch to see what happens next, to see if your predictions come true. Conflict. Conflict is more direct. 2 characters or 2 camps of characters have opposing objectives, Or maybe they have the same objective, but for completely different reasons. They have different intentions. This creates tension because we want to see who's going to win. Or maybe there's a deadline, a sense of urgency to complete the task. In this case, it's not necessarily character A against character B, maybe it's character A against the clock. There can also be conflict between like-minded characters, a pairing of strong and weak, smart and stupid, etc., etc. Laurel and Hardy, Romeo and Juliet, R2-D2 and C-3PO, Bonnie and Clyde, Butch and Sundance, Lenny and George. See, these characters don't have to be at odds to create conflict. They just have to keep us interested. Engagement. Engagement is a little more complex. It involves patterns. For instance, we know that a character has to make a choice, and we know the different options. We just don't know which path she'll choose, so we're engaged. We are told how the heist will go, but we want to see if they can pull it off. We're engaged. We're terrified by the monster, but the hero simply laughs. The primary emotion, or what the character is feeling, is at odds with the secondary emotion, which is what the audience is feeling. That disconnect is awkward. It makes us uneasy, and we're engaged. And entertainment. Entertainment is just that, something that titillates the audience. Maybe it's jokes, or a performance. Somebody juggling, riding a horse, throwing knives, playing poker. See, the talent in those instances is captivating, and they keep us from getting more popcorn. Or sex. Of course, sex. Or nudity. Seriously, people rarely leave when there's a naked person on screen, or just the possibility of someone becoming naked. But even if they're wearing clothes, there are some actors whose mere star power and acting talent is mesmerizing. I mean, honestly, I could watch Daniel Day-Lewis eat cheese for an hour and not get bored. He could read the phone book, I don't care, whatever. Entertainment by a star can be riveting. And finally, production, which is probably the deepest set of factors in creating tension because it can be affected in so many different ways, through music and rhythm. But I'm not talking about just audio. I mean, the rhythm of editing, the visual rhythm of color and shape, the patterns created with camera movements and shot composition, the juxtaposition of hue and intensity, whether through set design, costume design, or lighting, the choice of a close-up versus a wide shot. Each of these, like paintings in a museum, can fascinate an audience or it can bore them to tears. And these 5 approaches to tension are, I believe, the driving force of what makes great films great. Tension is the orchestral unifier of a film. One element can cover another. For instance, if they're not engaged, at least have them entertained. But a film is best when all of these layers are working together, when the production is engaging and so is the conflict, when the characters are showing talent and the audience is engaged in anticipating what's next. And when you find that in a film, it's as if Bernstein is directing Ma playing Bach in London. Except it isn't. It's Coppola conducting Brando, playing Puzo in New York. Or flip it around. Next time you accidentally find yourself in the middle of a bad movie, occupy yourself by trying to identify why you think the movie is bad. See if you can figure out why you lost interest. See if the production bored you. Or was it no longer entertaining? Was there a decrease in conflict, anticipation, or maybe engagement? And then see if you can identify whose fault that was. Was it the writer, the actor, the director, or the entire team of filmmakers? At least then you'll be entertained. Now that I've let you in on the secret of great films, I feel like my work here is done, right? Great. The shortest great courses in the history of great courses. Hardly. Our journey in the upcoming lectures will take you literally behind the scenes to see how the theory of tension is put into practice during all the steps of the movie-making process. How these embedded tensions work in concert to move us in ways that only great films can. For now, I'll close with a quote from the late, great Roger Ebert, a quote to which I think we can all relate. He said, "No good movie is too long, and no bad movie is short enough." Truer words were never spoken.